to the Madden football channel for the football season this season. I am now going to be giving you some predictions on each league. I will do each league one by one, so you don't get confused in where I'm speaking. So let's get on with the Premier League predictions for this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a big game tonight against Leeds v West Ham. As we all know, Daniel Farke under a little bit of pressure at the moment with that defeat to Burnley. Obviously, if you were starting the season, at the start of the season, you were looking at Burnley going, oh, there's a 6-pointer there, need to win that one. They didn't quite win that one. They haven't even beat Sunderland this season. They've not picked up enough points. West Ham really in a stuck. They started the season with Graham Potter, didn't get going with Graham Potter, and sacked him and brought in Nuno. And it's not been an easy fix for Nuno to come in, bring them all in, and get the ground running straight away. So obviously they lost to Burnley they lost to Brentford on Monday Night Football. It was a poor display from West Ham. But I've said that West Ham at home at the moment, they're struggling to get going. So I can see a Leeds United 1, West Ham 2 sort of prediction there for that game. Moving on to Saturday football in the Premier League. We opened the day with a 12:30 kickoff between Chelsea and between Chelsea and Sunderland. Obviously, Chelsea playing midweek. Wonderful result in the Champions League with a 5-1 win over Ajax. Obviously, 10-man Ajax, not really taking anything away from that performance. But in the Premier League this year, Chelsea have not looked great. They get a lot of red cards, basically. Then sometimes they end the game by getting the red card. But obviously, on Saturday last week, they played Nottingham Forest and they smashed them 3-0. Absolutely tremendous football game. What a game of football it was, and what a result it was for Chelsea, a 3-0 win. And obviously, that led to Ange Postecoglou being sent out the door by Nottingham Forest and replaced the same day. 2 hours later, I have been told that they replaced him with Sean Dyche. We'll get on to Nottingham Forest later in the week, because obviously they're playing on Sunday and not Saturday. So let's get back to this. My prediction is Chelsea 4 and Sunderland 1. That is my prediction there. Moving on to Newcastle, who, again, not really got going in the Premier League this year. Really struggling in the Prem, but doing really well in the Champions League. Again, played midweek, won 3-0 over Benfica. Told Jose Mourinho where to shove his football tactics. He smashed the Portuguese side off the park there. So, obviously, Fulham had didn't make a lot of chances against Arsenal on Sunday and ended up losing that game 1-0. Sorry, on Saturday, and ended up losing that game 1-0. That is just not good enough. So I'm going for a back-to-back defeat for Fulham today, but I'm going to give Fulham a goal. It's going to be 2-1 Newcastle. Moving on. This is a big game in the Premier League because there has been a big result on Sunday, actually at 4:30 that day, for my beloved Premier League side of Manchester United Football Club. Man United are at home to Brighton this weekend, and obviously Brighton beat Newcastle 2-1 with a late goal, but a well-deserved goal as well in that game. But Man United with a very good performance against Liverpool at Anfield as well. Man United were on the road after they beat Sunderland before the international break, and their next game after the international break was obviously Liverpool, and everyone in the football divisions were like, Liverpool are going to come back and smash United again. But Man United hit the ground running that day with a very early goal in the first 2 minutes from Bryan Mbeumo. And Bryan Mbeumo has been playing some really good football. And I can see Man United for the first time in a few seasons going 3 from 3 with 3 straight back-to-back wins. And I'm going for a Man United 3-1 win over Brighton. And moving on to Brentford. Brentford with a 2-0 win on Monday night over West Ham are playing the team that Man United just beat on Sunday at that 4:30 kickoff. And obviously they played Liverpool. They are playing Liverpool, but Liverpool have obviously played mid-week as well in the Champions League. And in that Champions League game, you saw Liverpool go behind to Eintracht Frankfurt. But Liverpool then looked really, really dangerous. And when they got back 1-1, I knew straight away from that point that Liverpool were not going to leave it to go 1-1. And literally we saw the real Liverpool back again. And they smashed Frankfurt 5-1 in the Champions League. So I can see Liverpool getting back to winning ways in the Premier League after 4 straight defeats in all leagues. But I can see Liverpool getting away with coming away from Brentford with a 3-1 victory against Brentford. Moving on to Sunday in the Premier League, we have Bournemouth taking on Nottingham Forest at the Vitality Stadium. Well, what can you say about Bournemouth? Wow, what a season. The last 2 seasons for Bournemouth have been absolutely wonderful. And what can you tell about that manager? Areola, brilliant manager, brilliant winner. And obviously Bournemouth have not played midweek like Nottingham Forest have. So they are going to be well rested and ready to go. And obviously they came off a very, very big game at the weekend against Crystal Palace where they drew 3-3 but led 3-2 and gave away a very late penalty which led the game to go 3-3 which was unlucky for some, but I'm going for a Bournemouth 3-1 win tonight for Bournemouth to win against Nottingham Forest, even with Sean Dyche at the wheel. Nottingham Forest winning 2-0 in the midweek, getting a bit of confidence, but I can see Bournemouth being one too many games in the week. Arsenal, moving on to Arsenal v Crystal Palace. As I said, a snatch and grab against Fulham at the weekend in their game on that Saturday night at 5:30. It was a snatch and a grab with a 1-0 scruffy goal, but Arsenal really showed true colours against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. Now, that performance in the Champions League, a lot of teams said that game was a bit more of a scruffy 4 goals, but it was 4 goals against a really high performance team. And that high performance, for me, leads back into the Premier League with Arsenal being at home again at the Emirates after such a very, very good performance against Atletico Madrid. I'm going 3-1 Arsenal over Crystal Palace. Now, moving on to Aston Villa. Obviously, Aston Villa have also played midweek in the Europa League, and they are at home at Villa Park against Man City. Well, what do we know about Man City so far is they're not the team that they once were with Kevin De Bruyne and all this lot. they're not putting in the performances where they're blowing away teams anymore. So I think this one is going to be a stalemate, and I'm going for a Desmond. I'm going for a 2-2 victory, a 2-2 draw. Moving on to the bottom of the table again. Wow. What can you say about Wolves? Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Don't even get me started. Wolves relegated if they lose this game to Burnley. And I'll tell you what, I'm not even saying this. If you lose to Burnley, I think it's too late. You're going down this season and you ain't coming back from it. So I'm going for a 3-1 Burnley win because Burnley have looked great in their last 2 games. Even with that 2-0 win over Leeds, that was just cracking. Moving on, last game of the Sunday kickoff, which is at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, where Everton are yet to lose, remember. They are unbeaten at their new stadium. That stadium is now a fortress. Obviously, Everton love Goodison Park, but some things have to come to an end. But they have made Hills Dickinson Stadium their new home, and they look brilliant at home. So I don't even see Tottenham. I don't understand what's going on with Thomas Frank's Tottenham at the moment this season. They've not got underway recently. Some shabby performances, especially in midweek as well, with a 0-0 draw. They were very, very lucky to even come away with a 0-0 draw. Should have lost that game. But for me, Everton at Hill Dickinson Stadium, they are going to stay unbeaten there, and they are going to lose 2-1. And thank you ever so much. That is my Premier League predictions for this weekend. I will be back next week for another Premier League prediction, as well as we have got some major different videos coming up. Especially, we have got the Championship predictions coming up, League One predictions coming up, and a bit of League Two as well. Wow. And we've got the National League. Wow, this is going to be a stunning time of the Madden football era. Let's hopefully bring back the Madden, the All-Star, and make football a great game again. Thank you. Good night.